Welcome to the show, Mr. Martin Bennett and Sanjay from Shree Minerals. It's a pleasure to have you on with us.
Hello. Hello.
Now, first thing I wanted to ask you is that Shree Minerals, as what I know about it, seeks to recommence the mining operations at Nelson Bay, which is an iron ore project in Tasmania. What's the progress, of this iron ore project? Could you give us an update with that?
Yeah, sure. The strategy has been to recommence the production of the DSO resources from the existing open pit at Nelson Bay River. The EPA advised us in middle of October 2021 that the DPMP prepared by the company was in accordance with the guidance provided by the board, and it has advised the local council to advertise for public consultation. Last weekend, the development application and DPMP has been advertised for public consultation, which the period will go till 8th February 2022. On this basis, the company hopes to be in a position during 2022 to consider a decision for recommencement of the mine after the permit is granted. Nelson Bay River is just to give you some background as a refresher, is an iron ore mine in northwest Tasmania that has a resource base of roughly 1.37 million tons of goethite, hematite, DSO, BFO resource, and 7.8 million tons of magnetite resource. The DSO operation is a proven operation. It has an existing infrastructure in place for transport mine to port and access to export facilities at Burnie Port. The direct shipping operation project at NBR is an all contract mining, processing, and haulage operation using local contractors with mobile equipment. It requires no major processing beyond crushing and screening. Demand from historical customers was very good because of the positive metallurgy. The ore had a very low impurities like alumina and phosphorus. The historic price received for Nelson Bay River, while our product is around 58% Fe, was a premium for low alumina, which very few mines in Australia for iron ore get that. So we are one of the few products which attracted that. Roughly, our product, the iron ore fines and lump, 40% was lump. So the lump again gets a premium. So we are again one of those few mines which has that iron ore lump production. So we get an index price of 58 enhanced by low purity for alumina and for lump. Historical cost when the mine was operating was around $72 Australian FOB Burnie Port, so which in today's exchange rate it will be about just under $50 FOB Burnie. So our project, even at current prices, is quite viable, and we're looking forward to the permit being granted over the next few months and to take the decision.
All right, it sounds like it's going very well for you then, a lot of things in the works. And you said it was over the next few months that you expect to see that taking hold. Do you have an exact sort of estimate for that? Would it be perhaps around?
It will be difficult to give an exact estimate of the time because it's really in the hands of the government authorities. The public consultation period goes to February 2022, and depending on what, if there are any questions which require any further information from us, we might be asked to give a supplementary DPMP. So, and then after that, the EPA prepares an assessment report for its board. They have a few months to do that. So depend on how quickly they can prepare that report. And then it goes to the board meeting. There are monthly board meetings for the EPA board and then the council. So there are a few, situations which can affect the timeline, but I think all going well, we should have it sometime in the first half of 2022 or thereabouts.
All right. Well, it's definitely something to look forward to, and it's not too far away. But it sounds like it's been a very prosperous area for you, that one. So I'm sure you're looking forward to seeing what else comes of it. Now, I understand that Shree has developed a good understanding of another project, the Lachlan Fold Belt project in New South Wales, and especially following the completion of a desktop studies and a recent rock chip sampling and oil sampling as well survey at the Rock Ledge prospect. So how do the findings of this initial exploration work outline the potential opportunity for Shree's project in the area?
Yes, well, firstly, the Rock Lodge prospect is located in southern New South Wales near the town of Cooper. It's within the Lachlan Fold Belt, which is highly prospective and is host to several gold and copper mines. Our initial work suggests that at Rock Lodge there's several areas of historic workings which have been sampled and they've given results up to 21 grams per tonne gold. Previous companies did geophysical surveys and induced polarization survey, and that identified several strong anomalies, which were then followed up with wide-space drilling, getting results of up to 2.7 meters at 4.3 grams per tonne gold. And there's also some copper in there as well, 0.73 copper. So since acquiring the project, Shree has done work ourselves. We've done some geological mapping, we've done rock chip sampling, and soil sampling, as you mentioned, and that is to find a well-defined coherent soil anomaly with a peak value at the centre of 1.29 grams per tonne gold, which is very high for gold. So what we're doing now is working towards a drilling program there, an RC drilling program, which will infill and extend the previous coverage, and that'll be about 1,000 metres of drilling. But look, we're also going to test some of the original IP anomalies that were never tested by the previous company. So there are a couple of targets there to follow up on. Now, just in terms of the style of mineralisation, we believe the style of mineralisation fits the intrusion-related gold systems, and we believe there's potential at depth for large tonnage gold mineralisation close to the intrusion. So depending on the results of the drilling program we have planned, we'll then go look at going back and doing deeper drilling to test that target.
Right, certainly a lot of work you're doing there. And did you mention that you're doing plenty of that work that hasn't been done before by other companies as well? That's certainly a good opportunity you've got going there. Great to see that expansion as well that you've been talking about. It's a lot of opportunity. And so speaking on the another project, the Dundas project in WA, which you've outlined as a potential for lithium as well as gold mineralization in that area, how significant is that opportunity for you at the project?
Yeah, well, the Dundas, we're over in West Australia now, so it's located 40 kilometres east of the town of Northman in the southern part of WA, south of the Air Highway. It's an area that we're interested in because there are remnant greenstone belts within the Albany-Fraser province there that are prospective, or we believe is prospective for gold and nickel. The project also covers two major structures that host a lot of mineralisation to the north around Kalgoorlie and Kambalda. So those structures come down into the area that we have under the Dundas project, you know, we believe there's a lot of potential there. And just to give an indication of the prospectivity, just to the west of us, Metal Hawk have been putting out some very good information on their exploration there. At their Beaker prospect, they've intersected 6 meters at 64 grams per tonne. That's relatively shallow depths. And then to the south, we have Dundas Minerals, who have a large ground holding there, and they've recently listed and progressing exploration there. So we think it's a pretty good target area. Now, our primary target is obviously gold, but as you mentioned, you know, we're also looking at lithium, because when we compiled all the historical data, some of the drilling done by Anglo Gold and Panos, we found that a lot of those drill holes have pegmatites in them. But because that drilling was done back in '97, before the current battery metals boom, those samples were never assayed for lithium or rare earths. So we see that as a great opportunity. And it's particularly significant given that directly to the north of our project, Liontown at their Buldania project have defined a 14.8 million tonne lithium resource at about just under 1% lithium. That's a spodumene pegmatite. So there's certainly potential in the area. There's no outcrop. It's purely a sandplain type area. So we're going to be depending on auger soil sampling and RAB drilling to progress the exploration there. But given that there's lithium and gold potential, we're certainly going to be looking at assaying for both those elements. And we're quite excited about what might come out of it.
Yeah, I can imagine. So obviously, lithium at the moment is in particular demand with the obviously move towards EVs. But very exciting. Is there anything else in addition from gold and lithium that you can expect to see from that project?
Well, as I said, there is because of these greenstone belts, there is potential for nickel, and we'll certainly be keeping an eye out for that, and also base metals. There was a little bit of work done by Anglo Gold on a base metal prospect there. So look, we're not going to keep blinkers on and just look for gold. You know, we've seen the lithium potential. We're going to go after that, and if we see potential for base metals or nickel, then we'll explore for those as well.
Great, very great to hear that. Definitely a great perspective to have there. Now, I understand that Shree has identified some new gold targets at yet another Western Australian project. The I hope I'm saying this correctly. The Kookanie West project.
Yeah. That's the next question. Yeah.
Right. Could you tell us a bit about the opportunity at this project?
Yeah, sure. Well, Kookanie West comprises 200% owned tenements, and it's located just south of Leonora. Now, this area is attracting a lot of attention at the moment primarily because of work done by Genesis Minerals on their ground just to the north of us, the Ulysses project. They've identified a resource of 1.6 million ounces of gold. But look, there's also very good news coming from the Kookanie, which is just to the south-southeast. Metallicity are doing a lot of work there, so it's quite a hot little area at the moment. But look, we've completed a review of the geological setting of the mineralisation in the area, and what that has revealed is there are many similarities between the style of mineralisation, or the lithological setting, and the structural setting of the mineralisation at Genesis Metals Ulysses project and our Kookanie West project. And just to give a bit of background there, the mineralisation in the area tends to occur in dolerite units, and where those dolerite units are cut by faults. And that is exactly what we have on Kookanie West. We have multiple dolerite units which are being differentiated to quartz dolerite, which is very brittle, and those have been cut by these faults. And some of those faults actually come down through from the Genesis Minerals ground, so they're the same structures. But not just that, in 2019, we conducted a August soil sampling program, and that generated a lot of anomalies. And some of those gold anomalies actually coincide with where these dolerites are cut by faults. We tested some of them at the time, the Golden Chimney prospects. We did some drilling there and intersected excellent alteration and some gold mineralisation. But there are a lot of other targets that now we're planning to look at. So the original August soil sampling was quite wide spaced. It was 250 metre by 50 metre. So we're going to infill that to define the anomalies better. And then we'll look to do RC drilling to test those, or potentially do RC drilling to test those targets in more detail. And we may, in fact, also extend the August soil coverage to cover more of the prospective area. So a lot of work planned.
Yeah, it sounds like you've definitely got a lot in the works there, and you've got it all mapped out pretty much, which is really good to hear. And it sounds like it'll be very prosperous for you indeed. Just before we wrap up now, let's talk a bit about Shree Minerals' business strategy and where you expect the company to be 12 months from now.
The company's objective, Ollie, is to create value for its shareholders by achieving exploration success and discovery of a potentially economic mineral deposit with the potential to be developed either by the company or another party. The company has made significant progress towards that over the last year and built up a portfolio of very exciting projects to expand and grow beyond what we had was just a Nelson Bay iron ore project in northwest Tasmania just 2 years back. The portfolio we have compiled are highly prospective for gold, base metals, and lithium, just now as Martin was telling you, in the Lachlan Fold Belt in New South Wales, Eastern Goldfields, and the Albany-Fraser region of Western Australia, and in the Arunta region in Northern Territory. Now, most of these applications, the tenements were granted through applications, and this provides an exciting portfolio of early to mid-stage, highly prospective opportunities which we are going to advance by systematically undertaking exploration and evaluation aimed at discovery of a mineral resource within these projects using the latest exploration techniques. In the last 1 year, the focus has been to undertake steps that are necessary to ensure that the licenses are granted successfully. On the granted tenements, we have been doing initial works like getting the landholder access agreements in place, native title agreements, heritage surveys, doing the initial geological reconnaissance, geochemical, geophysical studies, including desktop studies of historical information for reinterpretation. And so all this work is aimed at refining our drill targets. And over the next 12 months, we hope to be drilling in most of these. The first one of the gap is going to be the Lachlan Fold belt, as Martin was just talking about the drilling program at the Rock Lodge project. So, and in addition to this, with all this portfolio, we are also doing a continuous ranking of projects to prioritize and focus on our highest priority projects. And the company will continue to undertake and assess and review opportunities for new tenement applications or for acquisitions for more advanced projects, while we advance our own early and mid-stage project to more advanced project. So we would also look at, monetizing value either by development of those advanced opportunities or where suitable in the interest of the shareholders, farming out or divestment of some specific tenements while we focus on our highest priority tenements. So with this foundation in place, we remain focused on progressing our several exploration opportunities to achieve long-term shareholder value growth, and hope a couple of our exploration projects will become company's flagship projects over the next 1 year, in addition to, of course, looking at the recommencement of Nelson Bay River, which historically was our flagship project. But going forward, I think the exploration is where we are very excited about. As Martin was talking about the Dundas project, just to give you one example of the various projects, Dundas project, we are in a very good location. On the north, we have that Liontown deposit. On the west, almost close to the boundary, is the Metal Rock, and on the southern side we share the boundary with Dundas Minerals, which has just got listed. Now their ground and our ground pretty similar, and their market, the enterprise value on listing was over $6 million. So that just shows the prospectivity of just that Dundas project. And of course, Rock Lodge itself, we are very excited about our projects in Lachlan Fold. So we hope that in the next 12 months, as we get to the drilling, we do the initial works and progress them from early stage to the middle stage, they will become our flagship projects. So we're looking for some very exciting times ahead over the next 12 months.
Absolutely. It sounds like definitely got a lot of new things ahead, and particularly those projects, they'll obviously they sound like they'll be very promising for you, and you'll get some new flagship prospects as well, which is great. Those areas that you mentioned, all of them sound very opportunistic for you, and it sounds like it'll be a great 12 months ahead, especially for your shareholders as well, which is obviously the key of your business, creating shareholder value. There's definitely a lot to look forward to there from Shree Minerals.
No, thank you very much. Thank you for having us today.
Yes, it was great to have you on the show. Excellent to hear from you and to hear your insights as well. So thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.